Usually, 2 to 6 days is a good amount of time for Amsterdam, and 2 to 5 days is enough for Budapest. I know you might be wondering what makes Amsterdam and Budapest the highlight of today's episode. These two cities may be miles apart, but they have a few things in common, and that's travel. Yes, you literally have to travel to each of them to see what they've got to offer. One is full of historic magic and thermal baths, while the other has more bicycles than people. Some travelers detest having to choose between two extraordinarily distinctive European cities. But in this instance, the situation is slightly worse because you have to select between Eastern and Western Europe, two radically different regions within one gorgeous continent. To be honest, tourists will generally find more things to do in Amsterdam than in Budapest, although Budapest is larger than Amsterdam, especially in land area. But Amsterdam has more sites and attractions for tourists. Plenty of people visit the excellent sites of museums in both Amsterdam and Budapest. It might be kind of tricky to choose between Budapest and Amsterdam, but don't worry too much, that's why you're seeing this video. Let's begin with Budapest. It's a city that has it all: a fascinating history, beautiful sight to see, and an exciting nightlife scene. If you're heading to Europe and not going to Budapest, then you're making a great mistake. This city has an underrated nightlife that allows travelers to experience something unlike anywhere else in the continent. Fine, we know there are no prizes for originality when it comes to Paris and Rome. These cities have seen a billion tourist feet, and yours are just a billion and one. But this city called Budapest might attract you because it's a dark horse beauty that attracts visitors. For your information, Budapest is the capital city of Hungary, and they speak Hungarian language here, which is technically one of the most difficult languages in the world to learn, especially for English speakers, and it's so unrelated to any of the neighboring languages. There's something interesting about Budapest. So there's a part of the city called Buda, and the other half is called Pest. There's a chain bridge that connects both Buda and Pest together. Additionally, Euro isn't the currency spent here. They spend Hungarian forints, and it's way lesser than Euro. Now let's talk about the exciting attractions you'll find in Budapest. First has to be the Buddha High. You have to enjoy one of the best panoramic views in Budapest from the Ferris wheel right in the city center. The Ferris wheel is located in a public park and the ride offers awesome views of the environment, especially at night. The ticket is about €8 and you can pay at the spot. You don't necessarily have to buy the ticket down in advance. St. Stephen's Basilica is another landmark in Budapest, which also demands attention. It is named in honor of Stephen, the first king of Hungary. A lot of tiles were used to create the fascinating roof, and due to the fact that the roof is so steep, it is never covered by snow in winter. There's an entry fee to get into this church, so you can't get in for free. A short walk could take you to the Fisherman's Bastion, a lookout located on the Castle Hill in Budapest. It offers spectacular views of the city, and it's one of Budapest's best known landmarks, no doubt. You would enjoy one of the best scenic views of the Hungarian parliament from the Fisherman's Bastion, as well as the Danube River. I'm pretty sure we know how famous Budapest is, especially for the thermal baths. Every travel magazines, articles, and blog about visiting Budapest includes the thermal bath for sure. And after reading and hearing so much about it, you got a chance to experience this unique spring thermal bath. Trust me, taking a dip in one of the historic baths should be on everyone's Budapest list. This is a perfect place to chill out and get social. Then there's Buda Castle on the hill of Budapest. This castle has always had a turbulent history which reflects the different ups and downs of the history of Hungary. Today, the castle, which is often called the Royal Palace, is home to a number of cultural institutes, including two museums, the Hungarian National Gallery and the Budapest Historical Museum. You can access the castle from St. George Square, where the funicular connects the hill with the chain bridge. There's also chances to get panoramic view of the city from the castle. Budapest is also home to one of the finest cafes I've seen, and that's New York Cafe. Honestly, this cafe is really beautiful, with gold detailing, chandeliers, and ceiling so fancy that you won't even want to leave the place quickly just because it's fancy. The meal was okay, but it was quite pricey, as it should be. You gotta pay for the chandeliers and the gold detailing. Before we sail over to Amsterdam, if you are enjoying this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more travel tips and recommendations. Now let's head to the Netherlands, that's Amsterdam. This one is a loving and active city with a rich history and super liberal lifestyle. When I said it's an active city, I mean everybody rides bike here. Bike rules the road in Amsterdam. Bicycles are like a part of their culture. Kids learn to use them at an early stage and it takes you further and faster than walking for sure. Also, there are lots of bicycle lanes, so it's quite safe. You can park your bike almost everywhere and usually don't need to pay. Compared with the high cost of a car and parking, a bike is relatively cheap and it's an efficient way of transport. If you love riding bicycles and you haven't been to Amsterdam yet, you better pack your bags and start going. The language spoken is Dutch, which is quite close to English and German language. While we all know how liberal Amsterdam is, especially for many things we might consider illegal in many other countries, you are free to do all of those things in Amsterdam. But one thing I love about this city is how diverse it is. When I mean diverse, I'm talking about racial diversity. It's a place you definitely want to visit and never feel like an alien. Now let's talk about the exciting attractions you'll find in Amsterdam. First is the red light district. From prostitution to erotic shops and from museums to churches, Amsterdam red light district has it all. Prostitution is a legal profession in Netherlands, but not on the streets. Legal prostitutes in Amsterdam stands behind a window and have their own room in the back. They are also regulated and controlled by the police, tax and health authorities. That's kind of crazy though. The best way to enjoy seeing Amsterdam is the canal cruise. You can take a cruise and escape from the bustle and hustle of the city. But if you want to enjoy the boat, the cruises depart at about 30 minutes interval, and you'll be treated to different views such as the sunset and other historical neighborhoods. You can make use of Blue Boat or any other boat that includes an audio guide, where you get to learn more about Amsterdam in various languages, including English, and you'll definitely enjoy it. Then there's Amsterdam Port, which is the largest shopping center in Amsterdam. I bet you would find anything you want in this place. And because it's a street shopping, I kind of find it interesting, looking like a part of Oshodi markets in Lagos. If your choice is to visit Amsterdam or Budapest, I'm pretty sure you'll find plenty of activities to fill your time. However, most visitors tend to spend more time in Amsterdam than in Budapest because of the overall number of sites and activities. Usually, 2 to 6 days is a good amount of time for Amsterdam, and 2 to 5 days is enough for Budapest. So, where is your next destination? If you would want your trip planned with ease, then visit our website to get started. Thanks for watching this episode and see you in the next video.